everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel. So today I am finally sitting down to do the Q&A video that I've been saying I'm going to do for I think about 2 months now. I just never get around to doing it, and I keep asking you questions and losing them and all sorts. So this time I've actually done really well, and I've kept all the questions that you've asked me and I've actually written them all down. So I've got six questions, and then I'm just going to go through some like the do's and don'ts and then my personal advertising tips and things like that as well. So your questions, first of all, I've got, how did you find uploading a video to YouTube for the first time? I was quite lucky with this, to be fair. It wasn't really that nerve-wracking because it was back in April last year, April 2020 I think it was, and it was like the first lockdown. I'd been doing daily lives on Instagram for a few weeks before I did a first YouTube video, and to be fair I actually really enjoyed doing the lives, but it took up so much time because I had to do the set that I was going to be doing on the live for a picture to be able to say this is what I'll be doing tonight on the live if you want to join me, and then obviously do it again on the live, and then ended up having loads of these like practice tips and stuff, but lots of the same ones because I was doing them twice. So apart from that, it was a bit of it was brilliant, but apart from that I did really enjoy it. So yeah, apart from obviously the fact that I'd already got a bit of experience like talking to people and stuff like that, the thing is with YouTube is that it's not even as scary as a live, because when you're live, like, people are watching as you do it. If you mess up, they're going to see it. If something goes wrong, it's going to be seen straight away. Whereas when it's a video for YouTube, you can cut bits out, you can pause and then start again. Like, you only put onto YouTube what people want to, what you would think that people would want to see. So if something went wrong, you just wouldn't include it in the video. Or sometimes I do include it in the video and I use it as like a learning curve and of time to be able to say like, well, if this goes wrong and this happens, this is what you can do to make it better. So it's not really that bad if something goes wrong either, but it's one of those things where I can see why it would be nerve-wracking, but I am luckily quite confident in it, just simply because you're not actually talking to anyone at the end of the day. Like, you are obviously all going to hear the video eventually, but as I'm filming it, no one now at this point is listening to me at all. I'm just sat here on my own. So if for some reason I finished filming a video and I watched it back and I didn't like it, no one will see it. It's that easy. And obviously if I did like it, then I'll be happy to post it. So I think just go for it, basically. Like, it's one of those things. You're never going to know whether you enjoy it until you do it. I will just say that it's not as easy as it looks. It's a long-winded thing and it's almost like a job in itself. Obviously I upload a lot, so that's my own fault, but just bear that in mind. It's not just as quick cut as it looks. Like, that's all I'll say. And then, what's your advice keeping motivation when having off days or weeks? I think this basically applies to everybody in any job. It is very difficult when you're doing a job like this, when you're talking constantly to other people about their problems. I'm the type of person now where I am able to separate myself from it, whereas back when I first started doing it, I used to really get invested in people's lives, and if someone came in, they told me a rubbish story and they felt really upset and stuff like that, I'd then feel upset for them, and then the rest of the day if somebody else told me something upsetting, I'd get upset for them, and then by the end of the night I'd be exhausted because I was just so upset for everybody. Obviously, and the other way around as well, like if people are having a good time, or I don't know, the last couple of weeks have gone really well for them, like I'll get really excited for them, I'll be really happy. But you do have to separate yourself. So it is difficult if you're lacking motivation. I mean, I don't know what aspect this is regarding. If it means you work, then just practice. Like, everyone starts somewhere. No one is ever perfect. It's impossible, especially in an industry like this when it changes so often. Like, you can't beat yourself up. Sometimes it is good to have some space. Not always is it a good thing for you to throw yourself into something more that you're struggling with at the moment. So sometimes you do need to take a step back and just have a little break, and by the time you come back to it, it might feel better. But yeah, I think it's just the same as anyone else, really. You just got to either push through it or, like I said, take a step back, whichever one you feel will help you out the most. And then number 3 is how much of your this one made me laugh because it just made me realise how much of it awful I am at things like this. But how much of your earnings do you pay yourself, and how much do you invest into products in a percentage? I'm not going to lie, I literally cannot answer that. I have no idea. I don't have a specific amount that I will like put back in and a specific amount that I won't, because at different times of the month I want or need different things, like, so it's tricky. There are certain things that I buy religiously every single month, like the Sparkle Supplies UK VIP box. That's a definite however much money that is that I'm going to spend. And then things like acrylic and stuff, I tend to know how much I can get out of a bottle or a powder or whatever, so I'll know whenabouts I'll need to replace that and stuff. But in terms of like how much I pay myself, basically I use my business account as my only account. I don't have a personal because I just don't feel the need, to be fair. Obviously it might help some people to be able to transfer themselves some money into a personal account so they know what they've got, they keep the rest of it like for taxes and stuff like that, but I keep all of mine in one place. I have a savings account and that's an ISA, so things go into that, but other than that I don't actually pay myself anything. It just stays in the bank and just grows basically. So when I want to buy something, I'll have a look how much money I've got in the bank, and if I've got enough I'll buy it. If I don't, then I'll wait a week until I've earned another week's worth of wages and I'll buy it then. So it's one of those things. I definitely don't have a percentage, but I don't really do any of that, to be honest, so I'm not really helpful with that. And then the next one was, can you show us a typical day behind the scenes between clients? I am going to be doing this a lot more now, because if you haven't seen, I did a poll on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, then please do, because I do quite a lot of polls on there asking about what people want to see on my channel. So if you're on there, then you'll be able to like basically have more of a say in what is on my channel and stuff. So but basically, yeah, I did ask everybody if they'd rather have a daily upload still, but every now and then have a personal video dotted in there. Like I've got a Boohoo haul of clothes coming, maybe the day after this one actually, I'm not sure when I'm going to put it up, but I've got a Boohoo haul, and then I'm going to be doing more like days in the life vlog sort of things, because I don't always have time to do the personal things that I need to do and the nail stuff for a video, so it would be really handy to be able to film doing a personal like day, and then that's a video for my channel. So I asked if you wanted daily ones of both, or whether you wanted less frequent nail videos and just nails, and I just thought if I do the first option, there was a lot of votes for that. It was over 50 people voted for daily, and then only a few that voted for less frequent nail art. And then I just thought, well, actually option one gives everyone what they want, because there will be less frequent nail art, because there'll be like a personal video thrown in there every now and then. So obviously the ones that don't want to watch the personal stuff is absolutely fine. They'll be able to just wait until the next day or the day after that for a normal one. So that sort of thing. Number one, I've read these upside down, I don't know why, but what e-file, I can't even read my writing, what e-file would you recommend for a beginner, and which brand do you use? I don't think being a beginner has got real much to do with e-files, to be honest. I think at the moment I do use the Cuckoo e-file. It is here, let me show you what it looks like. It's plugged in at the moment. So I use the Cuckoo, and I've had this for around, I don't know, about a year and a half now, I think. I'm pretty sure I got it for Christmas in 2019. Oh, 2 years. I don't even know what date it is, I'm not going to lie, but yeah. So I have the Cuckoo. I am looking to upgrade. I am in the middle of trying to figure out whether I want a Sayang or whether I want the Willow Academy e-file, because I just love Willow Academy. So I'm thinking I might invest in that soon. And in terms of e-file bits, I do use all of the Willow Academy ones. They are brilliant. I use like every single e-file bit I've got that I use is from there. They are fab, they last ages, and they do the job really, really well. In terms of what file would you recommend for a beginner, I think don't go cheap. I used cheap ones for the first couple of years that I started e-filing. I didn't use the e-file for even half as much as I do now, to be honest. Like I never did redesigns. I didn't use sanding bands, so it was literally just like filing the gel polish off the top of the acrylic, and that was all I used it for. But the vibrations in cheaper machines, it's just insane. It's not good. It'll hurt your hand. It'll bother your client. Like it's not worth it. So definitely invest in a decent e-file. Obviously don't invest in an e-file or do any e-filing without training. And also wherever you do your training, they should give you an idea of like which one to buy, like what to look for in an e-file and stuff like that. So training is really, really useful. They'll give you lots of helpful advice. And then the last one was, What do you need to do or have to start a business, i.e. making business cards, websites, social media pages, flyers, and what's a waste of money? So this one's tricky because different things will work for different people, basically. I never really got anywhere with flyers, like posting them in people's letterboxes, but I've seen people on Facebook suggest it to other people and said that they did really well with it. So I think it just depends on your area and what sort of area you live in. I live in an area where people like me just throw flyers away. Like, most of the time I don't even look at them, which is really bad really, because people have spent money on them. But I usually just, if we get, I call it rubbish, like in the post, I'll just throw it in the bin. I know that's bad, but that's exactly what I'm like, so I can understand why the people did it with my flyers. But that was years and years ago when I first started, about 6 years ago I did that. I haven't done it since, didn't really feel the need. Business cards are useful. I do have some on my desk. I also keep some in my bag, but I'm going to go into advertising techniques in a minute, so I'll go over that there. I do think you do need social media. Obviously there is people out there that don't have it and they do really well with word of mouth, but I think social media is a huge platform for business at the moment, and it is really, really helpful. There are downsides to it for businesses, like Facebook with the notifications with their business pages and stuff like that is just atrocious, but everything else that you can use Facebook for businesses sort of outweighs how bad that part of the service is. So it's sort of hit and miss, but you definitely, I do think that will give you a huge boost having social media. I don't use Instagram for social, I don't use Instagram for clients, so please don't look at my Instagram as like me trying to get clients. I don't use it for that at all. I do have a few of my clients that follow me on Instagram and they do message me via that, but I don't use Instagram to find new clients. I either use Facebook or word of mouth for that. It's never Instagram. So my Instagram is totally different to my Facebook page. They're different spaces. My Facebook is just, I mainly post photos, policy changes and price list and availability. That's all my Facebook page is really for, because that is for clients and that's what they need to see. Whereas my Instagram I use to tell other nail techs about products that I like the brands that I work with. I promote them on there, things like that. So it's a very different space. I use it for a very different reason. What's a waste of money? Like I just said, like I didn't really get on very well with the flyers, but you might, so it still might be worth getting a few. So I'm going to go straight onto a website. I don't personally have a website. I don't really find the need because of social media. See, the thing, when I want to find somewhere to go for anything, I will genuinely go to Facebook and search rather than Google. I don't know whether that's just me or whether it's a thing or whatever, but I just find it easier to find a Facebook page and scroll through pictures and you can see all the information at the top of a Facebook page or an Instagram bio or whatever. Whereas looking on Google, you just see a link to a page and you've got to click it, then go into it, and I just can't bother with all that. So I don't have a website, but I do know that a lot of people think it's the more professional route, and you know, everyone's different, but me personally, I'm not really bothered about websites. So advertising techniques, look at this disgusting handwriting. I've got a list of advertising of what you can do to get your name out there. So first of all, if you're new to the industry and you're not like fully booked with clients all the time, so you don't have loads of pictures of clients' nails to put on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, just do practice nails or do your own, like just do something, be proactive with the time that you've got, and keep your foot, like keep your toe in the door. Is that foot in the door? Keep a foot in the door of the nails world and keep doing nails even if you're not doing actual people's nails. And then join Facebook groups like wedding pages, like local to you. I think the nearest one to me is a Warwickshire wedding page. To be honest, I don't know if I'm on it. If I am, it would be because I did this month, like years ago, I joined to like promote myself and stuff. But yeah. And then selling pages, they're huge. I don't know about your area, but mine in specific has hundreds of selling pages. It's ridiculous, there's loads. And some of them can have like up of 20,000 people on them. That's a lot of people to reach with one post. So I usually just make a post for a selling page, and then I share it in basically every single selling page that I can get my name in. Some of them don't allow selling of promoting of services and businesses, so basically check that. But to be honest, I just post in all of them. If they delete the post, they delete the post. It took me 2 seconds to post there, so it's not really an issue if it's deleted. But yeah, I do the post first and then share the post from my page. So I've got a post on my page at the moment on my Facebook that is all of my availability, all of my policies, my drinks menu, which is up here, and my price list. So it's basically all the information that people will need. And then I will just click the little share button on there and then share that to a group. and that means I can share to different pages, and I can just click which page I want to share it to. So I can share to like 30 pages in about 10 minutes. It's really, really easy, and you get to a lot of people really quickly. So next up is local shops and notice boards. So if you are going to get flyers, or if you've got business cards, go to your local shops, connect with local businesses. There is a chip shop near me that has a little board and place for people to place business cards and have flyers and stuff, and it's quite a busy one, so when people are queuing to buy their chips, then they can have a look at the businesses, and if your business card stands out, they might take one home with them. So there's also like fairs and events and stuff like that. Some people do like wedding fairs and stuff like that, where you can go and offer gel polish. Like if a gel, like obviously gel polish can take some people a while. Like gel polish takes me about 40 minutes, so if I went for like 5 hours and it takes me 40 minutes to do a gel polish, I could do quite a lot in that amount of time. And then you give in like, it's basically like a wedding, obviously, because it'd be a wedding one, there'd be a lot of women there, then you can spread the word and stuff like that. So those types of events are handy. Give business cards to people that comment on your nails. So like if you're out at Tesco and you're bagging up your shop and someone's like, oh, I love your nails, be like, oh, you should have some business cards in your bag all the time. Just pull one out and say, here's my card. Like if you're not interested, feel free to pass it on to somebody else. I also have clients that work in like I've got one that works in a doctor's surgery, and she's put my business cards in her staff room before, which is really handy. You can ask your clients to take some and place them where they work if it's possible. You can also do refer a friend schemes, like if you come and then your friend comes, you get 10% off your second appointment or whatever like that. But obviously always make sure that the friend comes before you give whatever the discount is. Or like a free cuticle oil, or just something, an incentive to get people to talk about you basically. And then you can also do things like colour of the week, which is like if you've got a nice blue that you don't really use very much, that you'd like to use more, you can say, instead of me doing this one for £20, if you have this blue colour, it'll be 18 or something like that. You can do that. And then do's and don'ts, I'm not really going to go into many of them because I will probably do a separate video on this when I've had an actual sit down and think about this sort of thing. But the ones that I thought off the top of my head was the main three is one, think of what branding you want and stick with it. Don't keep changing it, because you want people to be able to recognise you for that branding. Like mine is pale pink, even like my lint-free wipes are pale pink just because it goes with my branding. You can see the pink on this one in the background. You can't really see it on there because it just looks white, but basically that background, let me just get my business card. So I don't know if you can tell, but this top half here is pink and then the bottom half is white. This is exactly the same, and everything that is to do with my business on social media is always that pink marbly watercolour background, and then like black font on top, obviously like this. And also on my highlights on Instagram, that's all the same. Even my YouTube, every video has the exact same font on it, stuff like that. Because then you'll be recognisable for what you look like basically. People see that pink background with the black writing and the white and think, oh, that's Beauty Matters, like that sort of thing. So it's eye-catching. And then set your own hours and working days and stick to them. I have been an absolute nightmare for this over the years, and I still am, to be honest. But if you work 9 till 5 and someone finishes work at 5, don't book them in for 5:30 because you finish at 5. If they can't get in your hours, you don't need them as a client, because somebody else will fill the gaps without you having to bend over backwards. And I really wish that someone would have told me this all those years ago, but they didn't, so I haven't learned. But yeah. And if it's like you work Monday to Friday and someone can't do Monday to Friday and they want to do a Saturday, don't say, oh, it's fine, I'll get you on our Saturday, because that's it then. You've opened a Saturday, that's every 3 weeks they're going to keep coming back, and you're still working a day every 3 weeks that you're supposed to be off, so don't do it. Also, a second thing is whenever I go on holiday, if I have a week off and I'm going from the Monday to the Friday, I used to work the week before right up until the Sunday night, and then I'd get back on the Friday and I'd start working on the Saturday. I don't do that anymore. I don't work Saturdays and Sundays now, but even back then when I didn't want to, I'd still book people in for days that I don't usually work, just because I almost felt like I felt bad because I was going away and they weren't going to be able to get in. Especially after the past year, like we've been closed for half of the past year in the UK, and people have still managed to live without their nails. They can go a week while you're on holiday. And then thirdly, was base your prices on yourself, not other people. This is the one thing that I get really irate about, that really winds me up, is when people say like, oh, how much would you charge for this set? I don't know anything about you as a person. I don't know your personal circumstances. If you are basing your prices off somebody else's prices, you're either not going to make money, or you're not going to make as much as you could, or, you know, it doesn't make any sense. So it doesn't matter whether someone 3 doors down from you is charging 30. If they've got a mortgage of £400 a month and all their bills and everything cost £800 and their products cost them £2, then okay, that £30 might make them money. But if your mortgage is £1,000 a month and your products cost £5, you're using different ones, and you base it off there, so you charge 28 to be lower, you're not making any money, because you've got a higher house like bills to run, and also your products cost different to the products that they use. So don't ever base your price on somebody else's. You are never ever going to be in the exact same circumstances as somebody else, so it doesn't make any sense. And it's all down to experience as well. Like, you might charge less if you've only been doing it 2 months, but then someone down the road might have been doing it 2 months, but she might be further along than you and have been practicing for 5 years before that. Like, I've only been qualified for 6 years, but I was practicing literally non-stop from the age of like 10. So that already put me like 6 years in front when I went to college at 16. So yeah, you don't know someone's circumstances, you don't know why their prices are their prices. All you can do is set your prices for what you need to earn. So just bear that in mind. There's nothing more annoying than someone asking how much something should be. Just in general, like, we don't know. You need to sort that out for yourself, but there is ways to obviously calculate it. You also need to calculate in holiday dates. If you want to earn £30,000 in a year from doing nails, and you want 5 weeks off holiday, you need to make sure that you're making £30,000 in 47 weeks of the year, because you still need to pay yourself for those 5 weeks. Just because you're self-employed doesn't mean you shouldn't get paid for holidays. You'll just get paid for those holidays in a different time over the year instead of while you're away. So I hope that makes sense. I hope I didn't chew your ear off too much. I know it's a long-winded one when I just talk at you for 23 minutes, but yeah, I really hope you enjoyed it and it answered some of your questions. If you do have any more, then do comment them below. I will always try to get back to you if you have a question. And thank you so much for watching, as always. If you don't already subscribe, then please do. I'd be very appreciative. And if you already do, then thank you so much. And I think that's it from me today. I think I've talked for way too long as it is. I don't need to carry on. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye.